And the next part is personal preparation. That is very, very important, because PhD is, I mean, people call it very lonely journey. It is indeed lonely. I mean, it's indeed a lonely journey. It's indeed a tough journey, and it's a long journey for 5 years. So very important to prepare myself on the personal front also. How do you prepare that? One is psychological, which is more about your inner preparation. That you should be comfortable because to share my experience, I'm not a person who sits alone and studies, or I'm not a person who is, like, if you put it in a terms, somebody who is introvert. I draw energy from outside, so I need people around me to talk and discuss ideas and those things. But when I joined PhD, it was very difficult for me to sit for days together alone and then write papers and submit those things. It's very difficult. So I should prepare myself for this lonely journey. Because you might have your friends who give you some comfort, whom we can discuss, but ultimately what you're going to write and read, at least in the time of PhD, like later you can do collaboration, is more of a lonely journey. So prepare yourself for that. It's a lengthy period of 5 years. At least in IIMs it's 5 years. Sometimes it go beyond even 5 years, like go up to 6 years. So we should be prepared for that much of time also. So psychologically we should prepare ourselves to motivate ourselves. Some mechanisms, develop some mechanisms to motivate ourselves. The next fact is about social preparation. Why social? Because we are social animals, and we live in the society. I mean, we live in the society where others ask too many questions. I remember when I used to work in one of the organization in southern part of in the northern part of Karnataka. Any random guy who sits next to me will ask, "What's your salary?" So that much open society we are. So definitely people will ask, "Why PhD? How much of time it will take? What's your earning now? So when are you getting married?" Because the moment you join PhD, you'll be around 23, 24, or then the moment you finish, you become 28 or 30. People like me who have joined even later. So people will ask, "Are you not getting married? Are you studying throughout your life?" All those things. So like my friends mock me, saying that when I finish my PhD, my kid will be, both of us will be sharing our notes, because both of us will be studying. So these questions they ask. So you should be prepared to answer, not to answer, at least to make yourself comfortable with these questions. Last part is the economic part, because again it's a long journey. You'll be literally living on fellowships. If you have commitments, then you have to look how do you manage that, because mostly in the IIMs you're not allowed to do other things during coursework. So you have to manage with the fellowship. You get a decent fellowship, but still it depends on what kind of commitments you have. So these are the personal preparations you have to do from your personal end. So then some unsolicited advices from my thing is that talk to people so that you will know what has been their experience. I'm sharing about my experience because I can only share about my experience because I have experienced it personally. So I have spoke to different people, more than 50-60 people during my preparation. I had prepared for more than 2 years, because I appeared once and I did not get through, and then I appeared next year again in 2020, and then again for different institutions. Then I got in one institution. So it's a long journey. So you need to know different things from different people. And somebody who is like me, who's not from IIMs or from a premier institute, again getting a contact is very difficult. So for me, what helps is LinkedIn and Facebook, where I was able to connect to people whom I don't know, but they were very kind enough to help me. So the first thing is that talk to different people, so that you know different perspectives on what is the admission process. As I said, it is very subjective. Experiences differ from person to person, area to area, the panel to panel whom going to select you. So it's better to talk to many people and have a very kind of a holistic idea. Second is that whenever you prepare for a particular topic, think through the next 5 questions on that. If I say I'm interested in what is that? I'm interested in COVID and business implication, then think what is going to be the next 5 questions. The one obvious question is why, then you have to justify that. Second is that, so then in the business, what is specific you're going to look at? The next question they might ask, okay, then can you come up with one specific research question linking COVID and business? Then if you say a question, the next question they would ask, okay, can you just tell me what methods you're going to use to study this research question? Why not this method? So these are the way to anticipate. This you will get not by random imagination, that this you will get by appearing more number of interviews. Only few people get through first interviews. Many people take time. I mean, it's not that everybody has to face many number of interviews. Some may get through the first interview itself, but basically many people get through after attending many interviews. So these interviews will help you to go through the line of the questions they ask and then prepare accordingly. So then try to lead the interview. Lead is nothing but see, basically interview is nothing but to showcase what I know and what are my efforts so far. So in that sense, leading interviews nothing but tell them that what you know. If they ask something about a very complex thing, then you obviously have to say no, because when you don't know. But then if there is nothing common to interact, then your interview will end up in 5 minutes. You can't showcase your understanding. Better you can say that I don't know about that, but I know this. If they ask something about what is multivariate regression, then you may say I don't know about that, but I know descriptive statistics. I know what is covariance or correlation. Then they might so I mean, if the panel is good, they'll pick up that and they'll ask. If not, then just leave it. But if they pick up, then it will be a real help for you. So they try to lead interview towards what you know. It works most of the time. Sometimes it may not work. Depends on your luck. And be firm while answering, justifying your answers, and be humble. That don't be rude on your answers. Showcase that you are open, but still it is very important to justify your answers, because that's what they look for. But justification should come from from a very humble point. These are again my experiences, I'm saying, not kind of advices basically. So then be ready for spontaneous questions. As I said, what happens inside a research interview is unpredictable. You can't really predict. All you can do is that preparation in all lines, but you should be ready for spontaneous questions. Whenever the spontaneous question is asked, it is better to take time and answer. You can obviously take time. I remember my first interview, I had asked the panelist for a water, and I finished a half a liter water in an interview. So you don't need to worry about that. Most of the time they're very comforting. So you can ask time and think and then answer also. So those things you should be very comfortable about that. And the last part I would request you guys is that, as I am trying to reach out to others and because I have been helped from different people. So I'm trying to help them. You have to continue this once you get through that. This chain of helping should continue, so that we help each other to know this world better and apply PhD and guide them back to that. So the last part, which not to suggest you, which I have drawn inspiration from this, because as I said, it took more than 2-3 years for me to prepare, and initial attempts were not successful, then I have to attempt again. So only thing kept me is that the patience, persistence, and perspiration. So working towards that, refining your question, thinking through. After every interview, I used to talk to people who got selected. Like I had given an interview in some IIM, then I got to know from the list or somebody else that they've got selected. Then I used to call them and ask, how was your interview? What did they ask? This will help me to know what is the profile of a successful candidate. And again, like for example, who gets selected in one IIM may not get selected in another IIM. Who is rejected in 5-4 IIMs can get selected in one of the good IIM, or one of, there's nothing called good or bad IIMs, and of the one IIM other. So that depends on many things, but it's better to talk to people and know what went wrong in my interview and prepare accordingly. Yeah, these are the things. So stay safe and wash your hands. That is the most frequent thing what I did in last 1 year. So yeah.